only until recently that people, were more open to the idea of like, you know what, I actually want to own my own business. And maybe now I cannot quit my full-time job at the time being, but I would like to start something on the side.
Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 2 of a 5-part series where we are talking about opening a cafe in the UAE. Now, Zainab Al Mousawi is with me, owner of To the Moon and Back. And Zainab, we're going to talk about what's special about coffee and cafes here in the Emirates. I'm fascinated by the cafe culture here. I'm fascinated by the roastery culture here. There is a very unusual thing that seems to happen. You have some of the most beautiful cafes in the world here, and most of them are empty. What is going on with, I feel like it's connected back to what you were talking about in the last episode about how we're at the genesis of an industry here. So talk to us about what's going on there and why that's happening.
Okay, in my opinion, we are privileged perhaps to be well-traveled. A lot of us here in the UAE, we love traveling, and we are privileged to be able to travel around the world and see so many beautiful concepts from around the world, get inspired, get ideas. So I think that a lot of people get excited about this idea of owning a cafe, and they get ideas about like the decoration of the place. Where am I going to get my beans from? Whether I'm going to source them locally or outsource them from somewhere where I liked in Barcelona, let's say. And all of these things are fantastic, but they fail again with regards to the knowledge about running a business. They fail to create a proper business plan. So they have the business idea, which is, as a facade, it's beautiful. It's fascinating. It's like, I'm going to have an interior designer create this beautiful space for me. I'm going to have this fantastic coffee, but then I wouldn't have the understanding to run this business or like maintain, or like, how am I going to choose my staff? How am I going to keep my staff? How well educated are my staff with regards to handling, not just making the coffee, but handling certain issues or like customer service. All of these things that come. I think there's a lack of knowledge. There's a big gap with a lot of people who decide to venture into the cafe business here in the UAE, unfortunately. Maybe it's the overexcitement. Maybe it's the I don't know what's the proper word to use it, but definitely there is not enough time given between the development of the idea and development of the plan. And a lot of people don't even understand the flow of the money, the cash flow of the money, and when is the appropriate time to withdraw the money that I've gained. A lot of people might get excited about the profit that they make within the first 6 months, let's say, and then they would just take that cash and go and spend it. But they wouldn't predict things happening like COVID, for example. It was a shock for everybody.
Yeah.
It was a shock for all of us across the world. Like, we did not predict that to happen. So for people who had, let's say, a 3 or 4 year model plan for their finances and just like kept the cash flow happening in the cafe, those are the lucky ones that were able to sustain with minimal losses. But then the ones who just got excited and took the profit out, because technically they were making money, but they did not predict this obstacle that was going to literally shut the whole world down.
Yeah.
And those unfortunately had to shut down. So I think there's a gap of understanding for a proper business plan that will sustain your business from going. And it could be like mistakes when choosing your staff, not being fully involved in your business yourself, depending on people maybe who don't really understand what's running a cafe, having a cafe manager that's not really understanding of what's going on. So, and not understanding the competition that is around you also. And how can you make yourself stand out within the hundreds and thousands of the cafes that are opening around us every day here?
The market definitely is saturated.
My humble opinion.
And
it's definitely saturated.
Your humble opinion, in my humble opinion, is exactly spot on. You know, it's I've been meeting with a lot of people. I've been visiting a lot of cafes. I've been talking to a lot of roasters. And there's so many very, very educated people in the coffee industry that own businesses. And so we're not talking about silly people, right? These are very educated people who are opening the cafes. They're just educated in something that's not business. They're mostly engineers, mostly in construction, like different kinds of industries around engineering. That is typically mostly what I'm seeing. So these are really, really smart people that just haven't actually got the fundamental business principles that being taught to them, which is why I'm so excited. If these are people that once you tell them what to do next, like you should probably look at putting together a customer acquisition plan and figuring out who your customer is. They do it like that. That's why it's so exciting. Like they just need a map to tell them what needs to happen after what, after what, after what. And these people are going to do very, very well. But we have a saturated market of people who are very good at opening a cafe, but not at the customer acquisition planning and bringing the customers into the cafe. And that's why I think, sure, there's going to come a phase. We're going to go through a phase of having to help a lot of businesses close with dignity. But there are some very promising opportunities for some cafes that are open, which they just really need to tweak their customer acquisition plan and really get focused about what it is that they're trying to do with the cafe. And I think that they'll do very well. It's just that they don't know what the next step is. And they're working a day job as well as having their cafe. So that gets really tough. And that's another thing that's really prevalent here in the Emirates, isn't it? That someone opens a cafe while they have a day job.
Yep. Because owning your own business was not really a common thing. It's just starting. It was basically the previous generation, let's say like our fathers and mothers, and they used to have a family business, or even like my grandfather, they were all traders. So they would bring their trade and then they would trade with whatever. And then like their daughters and sons inherited that business and then they kept it running. But none of them, this next generation, was able to choose to own a business. And then the financial crisis happened. And then let's say the millennials especially, they were forced to go into a corporate job and just like do the usual, it's like 9-to-5 job. And that was the only way possible. Nobody thought about maybe I should quit my job and own a business. That doesn't work. And maybe the means were not available to support this idea, even if someone wanted it. It was a scary idea because you needed this, especially to recover from the financial crisis that a lot of our parents maybe lost their businesses in. So we had to start from zero. And the easiest path and the most, what made sense is to get a job and to work in a job like everybody else and just like earn money on a monthly basis. And that's that.
Friends, World of Coffee Dubai is back in 2024, and I am proud to announce that the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward will be the official podcast partner for World of Coffee Dubai for the second year in a row. The Roasters Village will be a one-of-a-kind destination for all things coffee. As an exhibitor, introduce your artisanal roasts to an international audience and gain valuable insights from their perspective. Visitors, immerse yourself in the celebratory coffee culture experience by sampling exclusive cups poured with passion from cafes worldwide and absorb insights that will elevate your own appreciation of all things coffee. Whether you brew coffee or just love savoring a fine cup, this event gathers the global coffee community under one roof in an amazing city. Join us at World of Coffee Dubai in 2024 at Dubai World Trade Center from the 21st until the 23rd of January. Tickets are available at Dubai dubai.worldofcoffee.org, or you can contact us on social media for any questions that you might have at mapitforward.coffee. Get your tickets now, folks. Come see the podcast being recorded live, and we hope to see you in January in Dubai for World of Coffee.
Only until recently that people, were more open to the idea of like, what, I actually want to own my own business. And maybe now I cannot quit my full-time job at the time being, but I would like to start something on the side. And some people are good at it. Some people are just, they are, again, poor planning or like poor understanding of what they actually are. Fascinated by the idea, but they lack the understanding of what needs to be done in order for this idea to flourish.
And thanks to things like the Khalifa Fund, that makes the barrier to entry a little lower, because previously if they would have used family money to be able to, or savings to help them start a business, the Khalifa Fund is a fund where people can tap into and perhaps get help with the funding for a cafe, right?
100%. And we're very privileged to have supporters like Khalifa Fund that helps you go and start a business. They actually help with the business planning as well. They educate people about like the business plan and go. You just need to commit as a business owner to attend the workshops that are there to help you understand what you need, what your target consumers are, and all of the perks and difficulties that come into a business, in addition to this amazing thing that where they fund you with the low cost or no cost at all for you to start your dream. I mean, like people dream about this all over the world, and I think we're very privileged to have a place like Khalifa Fund that would help us achieve our dreams. It's just an effort that needs to happen from the business owners to fully commit to the whole process, not just the pretty side of owning a business,
Yeah. In the next episode, folks, we're going to talk about what it's like to actually get your cafe started in the Emirates, because now a lot of people can do that. But let's talk about it in the next episode. So join us for that, folks. Peace on peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.